Oh, counting down. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is that time of the night. Yes, again. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are the Black Geeks, and we are coming to you live. We're getting our Google Hangout on tonight. We're getting our YouTube on tonight. And man, what an incredible night. We've got our first interview of 2015. So very excited. So very excited to have Maia Williams with us from Comic Con. Should I say Comic Con? MECCAcon. We talk about Comic Con. We go from MECCAcon, and I'm gonna tell you, it is such a pleasure to have her on. We're going to have her on immediately after our Sith News segment, and also tonight we're going to be getting a kind of a recap. DarthGeekonius is going to give us a recap if he can figure out his technical issues. We're going to have a recap of the Windows 10 event earlier this week. But first, let me first introduce. Let me introduce myself. First, I want to introduce. I am Big Baba Rob. I am your host for this evening. I do also have several fantabulous geeks on the line with me as well. I do have the Potbelly Samurai. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Great to be here.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, we also have King Face hanging with us. King Face, sir, how are you doing this evening, my brother?
I am doing wonderful. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? How your mama doing? How you doing?
Hello.
And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we do have DarthGeekonius with us. What's going on, DarthGeekonius and his icon?
Nothing much, just trying to get some stuff worked out. That's all.
Oh, that's wonderful. This is going to be very interesting because I don't know what everyone else is seeing, but I'm seeing a lovely image of Black when you talk. So I was hoping to at least see your icon, but now I guess we're going to have to just treat folks to a black screen while you give us.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, isn't it awesome? One of the techiest guys in the group is having just major tech issues. But I just want to let you guys know, make sure that if you are following us, if you're listening, if you are on Twitter, if you are on the Hangout, make sure that you use the hashtag, especially on Twitter, hashtag TBG podcast. That way, if you have any questions from Maia, if you have any questions for us as we go through this, you can definitely hit us up and let us know. But as always, we like to get started with getting you up to date and educated and let you know about all the really techie geeky stuff that's going on all week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you DarthGeekonius and his Black Scream of Doom. DarthGeekonius, take it away.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I was actually trying to do a live demo of Windows 10, but it's not working. So I'll just start out with that. Anyway, this week Microsoft presented their new version of Windows in preview format. You can actually download that now if you want to get into Microsoft's program and look at the preview. Some of the key features Microsoft introduced this week, they showed screen mirroring between the Xbox One and your PC and or Windows tablet, which basically means that if you have an Xbox One in your household, you'll be able to also play that same Xbox One from your PC or your tablet using the Xbox controller. Also, they incorporate a lot of Xbox Live features, so you'll have game DVR on your PC, and I assume it's going to be on your tablet as well. There was no clarification. Also, some new games announced that allow PC players and Xbox One players to be in the same multiplayer universe. And they also came out with a new browser called Spartan, so Internet Explorer is going away. And of course, all the other Windows 10 features you heard about, such as the advanced start button that now has everything in the start button as we used to have it, except that now that it has Metro tiles. And last but not least, they also introduced a new, what some are calling a hologram. Basically, it's a new head device that you put on, something like the Oculus Rift, but much better, where you're able to interact with the world around you. And you see holograms in real time. So that was Windows 10. Also this week, there's been an update that Tom Hardy has dropped out of the Suicide Squad, and looks like he is possibly going to be replaced with Jake Gyllenhaal. I can never pronounce that guy's name.
Gyllenhaal?
There you
Jake
go.
Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, there you go. Also, it looks like there's a new Dead Rising, video game movie tie-in that's going to be coming out called Watchtower, so be on the lookout for that. Supergirl has been cast. So for those who are wondering what's going on with the Supergirl TV show, actress Melissa Benoist will be playing Supergirl on the CBS drama, which should be coming out later this year. Sprint is up to its antics again, trying to take T-Mobile customers away, and they have decided to pay a $200 minimum trade-in if you switch over from T-Mobile. Just a couple other updates. Of course, the big news this week was that for Age of Apocalypse, Storm has been cast. A lot of people on Black Twitter are not necessarily cool with that, but if you remember the young lady from the Aaliyah film that was also very popular, she's going to be cast as your new Storm. Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones is your new Jean Grey, and some dude is Cyclops, so there you go.
Wow, he didn't even merit an honorable mention, huh?
Yeah. You know, it's whatever. So that's actually all I have for Sith News this week, Barbara Rob, so I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, DarthGeekonius. I definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time. And I certainly hope that you are able to join us. I kind of feel like after last week, he's hiding his emotions again. I think that's probably what it is. He just doesn't want us to actually see him. But anyway, I'm sure that he's diligently pecking away trying to get everything figured out. But ladies and gentlemen, I really want to bring on our guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the show Maia Williams from MECCAcon. MECCAcon 2015, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up here in September. Maia, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Peace, everybody. I'm good. How are you all?
Oh, everybody's doing just fine, I think. Let me make sure I got you queued up. Okay. Yep, there you go. All right, you're good to go. Okay, so I'm sure everyone wants to know. I think that's the big question is. Well, let's start with you first. I mean, obviously, you've put this great event together. First, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a multi-entrepreneur. Not only do I throw cultural comic cons, I'm an executive sous chef, I'm a jeweler, I'm an executive assistant, I manage small businesses, I throw events all across the city. Besides the comic book convention, I throw art installations, jazz concerts, and things. I'm a mother of a comic book head, which helps me stay abreast into the comic book industry. So that's me.
Okay, so hey, I'm kind of the radical one of the group myself, so I completely understand. But I think a little bit of radical is a good thing, and I think the world needs a whole lot of radical right now. So tell everyone about MECCAcon. Tell us, what is it? What's it about? Why? Why did it come about? I'm sure that a lot of people want to know. Tell us about MECCAcon.
Okay, MECCAcon is Midwest Ethnic Convention for Comics and Arts, and it is abbreviated MECCAcon. Myself and a close friend, Sean Aline of Pyroglyphic Studios, we came up with the acronym because Detroit is widely known as D-Mecca, and because it's a comic book convention, I wanted to tie in meccas and things like that, so I wanted to have the play on words. I decided to do MECCAcon because I've been co-throwing comic book conventions for about 5 years now, and I just felt like if I did it myself, a lot of things would be different. I'm highly connected in the Detroit artist community as a whole. I wanted it to not only focus on comic books, but because it's Detroit and we're so well known for our artist community, which is why our city is being gentrified, but I'm not going to go into that right now. I wanted to make sure that, it would focus on not only comic books, but literature as a whole, art as a whole, dance, theater, fine arts, just art of all genres. So I wanted to make sure that our city was highlighted for that. And I wanted to make sure that the comic book convention will focus on my own people. While I love everybody, I love myself the most. So I wanted to make sure that our comic book convention focused on Black art, Black comic books. I wanted to make sure these children knew that they were comic books that looked like them. everybody didn't look like Thor, everybody didn't look like Superman. I wanted to make sure that there would be knowledge of self classes so they would know who Thor really was, who Superman really was, where the word hero actually derived from. So it's basically a convention of all sorts. So, and this is our second year, and it's every September. And this year is September 18th and 19th.
Let me ask you, because you mentioned your artist, and you sent us some really beautiful pieces that we've been publishing on Facebook and Twitter. Let me ask you, you say, we talk a lot about on this show the lack of representation, whether it's at a con or it's in a movie or television or even in comic books itself. With the artists that you work with and you talk to, do they also feel that it's hard to break through in those various genres, that it's hard to get their art either in comic books or just respected in the media community? Do they feel that do they express the frustration or challenges?
They express it all the time because it is a challenge to get respect widely. It's sometimes depending on who you are or how good you can shuck and jive, your material may not be spread as widely as somebody else who will do a book with white people on it because they know that'll sell faster. But a lot of the artists and the writers, it can be hard, but the people that I cipher with, they don't focus on how hard stuff is. They work on progressing. They're working on like, well, what can I do to make sure that my stuff gets out? Am I going to sit here and only sell my stuff on Comixology, or am I going to make sure I sell my stuff on Comixology and use this new medium called Peep Game Comics, which is like basically a Black-owned Comixology where we own it, and there's a lot of books on there now. It's like you have to make sure like you can either sit at home and be someone on the internet just drawing all day, or you're making sure that you're saving your pennies and going from state to state, vending at different conventions, whether they're white, Black, Puerto Rican, Chinese, or Spanish. You have to make sure that if you're going to be in this industry, you know how to hustle and you know how to grind regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they say it's hard, but they also work on what they can do to change that.
So talking about the artists that participate with MECCAcon, how do you get the artists that are on display there? Do you reach out to them, or are they reaching out to you? Do you have open calls? How do you become part of MECCAcon?
With me, I do both. With me, I network insanely. I'm known for network. I network insanely, especially on Facebook, DeviantArt, everything, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever. Like, I hustle very hard at this. I not only ask artists, if I add an artist, I make sure that I add someone specifically that I know that they're going to have a huge following, and then I'll look at people that are on their pages, and then I'll see their energy and see what they're about and see what they're trying to do, and then I'll ask them. And then a lot of people come to me, so it just depends. I also do open calls. I do open art calls. For the visual artists especially, I do open calls.
Can you give folks an idea of when they come to MECCAcon, what's a typical day like? Is it vendors and artists? Are there also talks, lectures, panels? What is it like to be at MECCAcon if I'm coming to participate?
So with MECCAcon, of course, you'll have your quote-unquote artist alley with the vendors. You'll also have workshops, illustration workshops, Photoshop workshops, children's class workshops. You'll have dance classes, DJ classes. You'll have panels. This year, I'm just trying to have 2 panels. I'm trying to have we're going to have the Women in Comics panel, and then we're going to have the Generalized panel. There's a lot of performances. It's 2 days. The first day from 7 to 11 p.m., which is at MBAD African Bead Museum. That's where all the performances will be, and then we'll have a few on Saturday as well.
Oh, wow.
But it's a lot of activities, like a lot.
Oh, that man, that sounds
But
that
we
sounds
focus a lot. We focus a lot on the workshops and classes because a lot of people come for that. I want to make sure when they leave, they're like, "Wow, I'm so happy I came to this. I'm so happy my child got to experience this." And it wasn't just me coming in and buying comic books. It was a lot of stuff going on as well.
right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now, where is MECCAcon typically held? Do you hold it at a hotel, convention center? How big
It
is your
depends
space?
on what year. It depends on where because I try to rotate. Like this is my second year. It's supposed to be at 5 Gallery this year. So it
So
just depends.
so based upon that question,
I don't
what?
really like hotels. I don't really like hotels because I've been to different comic book conventions and they've had them at hotels, and a lot of the hotels have a lot of stipulations. So
Mm,
a
so
lot of stipulations.
so based upon that, what is the hardest part about pulling off an event like this for you?
Money,
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 money.
money. Because it's expensive. A lot of people don't realize how much I have to spend to do an event, and it's just me. It's not I am my team. And when you're not San Diego Comic Con and you don't have corporate sponsors, your sponsors are your wallet and your pockets. So it all comes literally from me, and it gets hard sometimes, but I'm just so focused on trying to help the community. That's all literally what I'm trying to do. And that's why I did it in the first place. So I sometimes ignore it and I just like, okay, well, here goes some more money. It's like whatever. Because that's literally why I do it. I do it for the children in the community.
And
It sounds
how
people say, but it's the truth.
well how has the community responded to this point? I know that the artists are obviously coming out and participating. How is the community in Detroit embracing the event as well?
Oh, they love it. They love it. They're very supportive of me. They're very proud of me. Um, Me especially because me being a woman and I'm doing it. Um, it's when it comes to Detroit and me being a woman and doing it, I get a lot of respect for it. When it comes to abroad, I can get a lot of flack because as a woman, you don't get taken seriously in this industry too often. Like very rare, and I've gotten a lot of mistreatment as being a woman. I get a lot of people automatically assuming when they see MECCAcon that it's a male. I've had people try to register for tables and then they find out it's a woman that's over it and they'll ask for a refund. That happened to me 3 times last year.
Really?
Literally. Like they found out I was a woman and they asked for their money back. So, it gets very interesting. Don't get taken seriously. So maybe that would be, yeah, I think that's actually harder than the money. I think that's actually a bigger problem, being a woman and doing this, because you don't really get taken seriously at all. You really don't. And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Wow, that's astounding. At this point in time, I should never be surprised by the amount of sexism and racism that we have running through.
I wasn't
Um,
even going to say the S word. I was going to try to hold the S word back.
well, let's call it like it is. Well, look, I just told you, I'm kind of the rebel in the group, so that's real. We talk about that, here on this show. We see it, and that's incredible. And I just want to ask the question, and maybe I shouldn't go that deep, but
I don't mind. I was trying not to be the one to bring it up.
that's okay. The people that asked for their refunds back, were they people of color?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's always amazing, and I
One
don't.
of one of them was an organizer of another kind. So, yeah. I'm probably
Wow.
gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I don't care. But yeah, one of them was an organizer of another kind, another convention.
I think
But
that was
it is what it is. They
I think
didn't
that was
even know
broad
that I was
enough.
at the con.
Wow. I think that was a broad enough statement. I hope you don't get any trouble over it, and I'm hoping that people
Hmm.
look at it for what it is and come out and support the event. I mean, because we need that. We need the imagery. We need it to be out there in front, in place, and we can't shy away from it. And so, I mean, I'm really glad to have you on. I'm glad you're able to talk about it. So, okay, so you're saying that this is so you said this was the second year of
Yes.
MECCAcon. How much have you grown from the first year?
Well, it's the last year. It, see, the first year, minus the setbacks, for the first year, for me to have had the people that I had participate in MECCAcon, it was a pretty big deal, which is why I got hated on so much. But you know, the second year, it's like, how can I live up to the first year as far as the people that are participating? As far as the traffic and the amount of people, I'm sure it's going to be more this year. But last year, the people that actually participated, I mean, it was I did pretty good. You know, I got pretty substantially heavyweight people to participate last year. So this year, I'm trying to make sure it's more strategic with the flow of things per se.
Completely understood. I get, every year you want to grow a little bit and do something a little bit different and streamline
Right,
the operation and whatnot.
right. I have
I'm really
more
hope
women participating this year, so that's awesome. I
in
have I have a
in what
lot of
capacity?
women participating this year and a lot of men. So that is awesome, and that's all because of Regine Sawyer of Women in Comics. She has helped me out tremendously. Erica Freeman of Dark Matters helped me out tremendously. So like those two women alone have had this go on Twitter like freaking San Diego Comic Con. Like I have no idea who all these women are coming at me for MECCAcon. I don't care. I'm just happy they know I'm alive. So, but that's great because not that many women participated last year. For me to be a woman organizing a comic book convention, it looked kind of weird. So it looked like people were like, well, well, where are the women in comics? I'm like, I don't know. I asked them, but now this year they're all
Mhm.
participating. So, I'm grateful for that.
When you say they're participating, in what way are they
They're
vendors? Are they
vending.
artists? Are they
They're
okay? Great.
vending. They're artists. They're doing panels, classes. Yep. Last year I had none. I had female vendors that were artisans like myself, but I didn't have any that were in the industry. I had two visual artists. So let me take that back. I didn't have any comic book people, but I had two visual artists because we had a gallery and we had the artist alley and we had outside. It was at a really big venue last year
Wow. Wow. I
at the
want to open.
Car Center. It's called the Car Center, downtown Detroit.
Okay. I want to open up the floor to my Black Geeks before I ask my final question. I want to start with Darth Geekonius. Geekonius, did you have a question for Maya?
Yes, I did. Good evening, Maya. Thanks for being on. Um,
Peace.
I peace and blessings. I wanted to ask you, and Barbara Rob shared some of the artwork with us prior to you being on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to be an artist myself. I say used to because I don't draw or paint anything like that anymore.
You
But
still
I was
artist.
I do more writing these days, so I tend to paint with my words, if you will. But
Okay.
I used to want to be, when I was younger, a comic artist myself.
Okay.
My goal was Marvel, things of that nature. But one of the things that really impressed me about the artwork that he shared, um, you know, a lot of our background, everything that we get in the art world, especially
Mm-hmm.
here living in America, is Western influence. So you could, when you think of, artists, you draw a certain way, you expect a superhero to look a certain way, even when you would draw, black characters and stuff, they look a certain way. So the
Mm-hmm.
artwork that was shared, you saw some of the African influence, like some of the sci-fi art I saw incorporated some of the tribal, mask and artwork and stuff. And I found that really fascinating because you don't see that because your perspective is always, you know, art looks a certain way because it's European or Eurocentric. So I was really excited, and I saw that you can still have great comic art that
Indeed.
has a different flavor to it, and you can see yourself
Indeed.
into it. Yeah. So I just wanted to say I was really impressed with that, and I applaud your efforts. And I guess my question is, um, what do you think, through your efforts, what do you think is one of the best ways to maybe help get other artists, especially, black artists, obviously, to be able to visualize, draw these heroes, draw these characters that have influences that are not westernized? How do you think we best incorporate that into the art world?
Well, as far as how they should do it, I feel like study. Google, Google, Google. Start looking up African art. Start looking up things about Kemet or Egypt, things like that. Start studying tribes. Learn more about Afrofuturism. Put Afrofuturism out here more. Like, I'm sure everybody cookies and claps the anime. Me, I piss everybody off. I hate anime. I don't understand why our people push anime harder than they do their own stuff. Like, you're bigging up a culture that's not even yours to the point where stuff that's not even anime gets called anime. I feel like we have to put more of a focus on black speculative fiction and Afrofuturism and steampunk. So I feel like in order to start that, just start studying different tribes, start studying different pictures of things, be inspired by that, and then take what you see and flip it. Everybody doesn't have to have a cape. If you have a cape, make a dashiki. Like, just whatever. Like, just make it to where you are putting emphasis on your own history, on your own foundation. Make sure these children know that, a hero looks like them. So, start putting African masks on stuff. Make a mecha with a huge African mask and things like that. It's nothing whatsoever wrong with that. And like the artwork that you all saw, like the black and white one, the huge mecha, Sean Aline did that. And this year, all three of my artists are all doing mechas like that. And then the other ones that were colored, all of those were from Jason Reeves of 133 Art. And Jason Reeves is absolutely out cold artist. Both of them are. Steve and Stephen Harris did my DJ one for last year. So I had 3 artists last year do the main art. I was very spoiled last year with the artwork. Jason Reeves did all of the pictures that I put on the program for tonight. He's very, very gifted at doing Afrofuturistic things. Like, if somebody says, draw me on the mountains playing the drums, he made the mountains djembes. And then instead of dust coming off the djembe, they were birds. And his locks turned into the roots of the mountains. Like, Jason Reeves goes over and beyond the Call of Duty. So that's why I love his artwork.
Yeah, that's so very impressive to take just the basic elements of of African culture and putting them into the
Indeed.
art. I was so impressed with.
About it.
Yeah, I was so impressed. I was studying the piece with the brother in the white wearing the straw hat, and I love the detail where the ends
Jason
of
Reeves.
the ends of the locks actually became the roots. And, I
Mhm.
caught the end of it, and I thought that was just so.
And his staff was like 3 different instruments.
Yes.
And then the other one that was like blue and purplish, he had prayer beads, his dicker beads. His dicker beads, when they broke off, they turned into the cosmos. Like, he goes very hard on everything. Like, he's out cold with it. So I
Yeah.
love his artwork. He did my logo for Crown's Royalties. That's insane. I don't even know if I sent that to y'all. But my main logo for one of my companies, he did that, and I just told him to make something of a chick with an afro. Like, dude made a crown that was like of trees and went and used about 30 of my pictures of jewelry and incorporated it on the entire picture. Like, it's insane. It has an amethyst inside of my hand on the staff because I'm Aquarius. he interpreted my aunt tattoo and put it on the out. Like I'm just gonna have to send it to y'all. It's out cold. I get excited talking about art. I'm sorry.
No, perfect.
I'm
All right.
like,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
like my big brother. Like I'm like his biggest fan. And one thing about Jason Reeves is he owns a huge collective called 133 Art. Like they have artists, they have writers, they have their own colorists. Luis Guerrero did all the colors on all the pictures I sent you all, and he is insanely sick on colors. So
Wow.
it's really good.
Wow.
I don't know. Have you all ever heard of One Nation Comics?
No, I definitely have not. I'll pitch to my comic book experts. Have either you guys heard of them at all?
No.
133 Art. Oh yeah, One Nation Comics.
Yeah, when you get a chance, if you could shoot us the link, I definitely want to make sure we
Absolutely.
we tweet them out and we get them out on our Facebook link and everything. I want to kick over to King Face. I think that he had a question. King Face, you got a question, brother?
Yeah, I did. I just a quick question. With everything that you're doing, and I commend your efforts. I mean, because we need a lot more people doing more for us. So one of the things I was curious about is, as far as expanding your reach a little bit, do you intend in the future or to like try to attend other cons to try to push your brand out to kind of get more support?
Absolutely. It takes money, but yes, I do go to other comic book conventions. I do. This year, I'm trying my hardest to go to East Coast Black Age. I'm trying my hardest. I definitely plan on going to Detroit Fan Fair, Confusion, Motor City Comic Con. I'm really not down with because they're not really down with us. But UMACon I don't really go to because UMACon is one of the largest anime conventions in the United States. It just happens to be here, but I don't really do anime. So, but I do go to other conventions. I'm just trying to expand myself more. I hate that I missed the one in Harlem, the Black Comic Book Festival. That was a weekend that John Jennings did. You all know about that, right?
Yeah, I heard of it. We weren't able to go.
Well, they had I think a little over 4,000 people. It's a pretty big. Yeah, it's a pretty big convention. This is the third year. It's ran by John Jennings and Jerry Kraft, and then John Jennings on the same exact weekend had just as big of a convention in LA. No, San Francisco. That's where it was, San Francisco. And he flew from New York to California on the same day doing two entirely different conventions, which is crazy. That's why I say he's Falcon. And I'm like, I refuse to believe that he's not Falcon, because anybody could fly all the way to the other side of the country, do two conventions in one day. You somebody. So
you're doing something big, something special.
You're doing something. You're not Falcon. You related to him. So
I know that's right.
But I find that to be outstanding, that you can do two huge Black comic book conventions on the same weekend, let alone the same day. And the one in San Francisco was 3 or 4 days long.
Wow.
So it was a really big deal. I didn't know if you all knew about that. So a lot of times people think that Black comic book conventions are small, but a lot of them are like a pretty big deal. Like a lot of them, like, yo, we out here. I'm John Jennings and throw the pimp cup down. Like a lot of them are doing very well. And it's something to be admired. Like the first year that they did Black Comic Book Festival in Harlem, they had almost 3,000 people the first year. It was just one day. Like that's how hard they came out in Harlem, because people are in a need for it. People tired of reading Superman. Superman cool, you know what I'm saying? Batman, Thor, all that good stuff. Hey, that's cool, but sometimes you want to see something else too after a while. So it is what it is. But I'm just proud of them. Like I'm proud of it. Like I participated in it and I didn't, but just knowing that somebody else did something and is establishing himself that hard in a community like comic books, like that's astounding, and we all should be proud of that. We all should be
I
proud.
hate you, man.
That's,
Personally.
that's insane.
Well, what King Face? I'm sorry. What did you say?
I
She
hate
said
Superman.
Superman. See, that's a trigger word for him.
Yeah, we know.
That's a trigger.
King Face has a very has a issue has deep seated issues with Superman. So yeah, we know that. So tell me, how can people support you other than showing up, buying tickets? Drop your information. How can people support MECCAcon? How can they support you in doing the things that you do?
Well, we are taking donations, absolutely. Our website is MECCAcon, MECCA con.weebly.com. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. I just started a WordPress yesterday. I'm trying to be everywhere where I can log in. Like, I don't care what it is. If Kellogg's got a website, I'm gonna make a MECCAcon page on that. Like, I'm trying to make sure that I get out there by any means necessary. You can email me my email. I can text it to you also. You can put it on there. There's a lot of different ways. I'm everywhere on Facebook, from my personal page to my fan page. I try not to be too much of a private person. You want to add me, that's fine. I may not talk to you, but you can add me. So it's no problem. I have 4 businesses, so I have 4 websites. All websites are connected to all 4 websites. So if you find MECCAcon.weebly.com, you'll find all 4 of them. I'm just trying to stay busy, trying to stay as elevated as possible, because a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to throw a comic book convention, try to convince people to participate in the comic book convention, try to get people to pay their tables for the comic book conventions before the day before. There's a lot of hard work. It really is. And being a woman, it just makes it 97 times harder, because sexism is real.
Oh yeah, we know that.
I'm very polite on this interview, so that's why I'm not going into it. But yeah, sexism is real out here. So.
Oh, we know all too well.
Dealt with a lot of crazy stuff trying to sell tables, so
I'm sure.
So it's just trying to stay positive.
I want to kick to the Potbelly Samurai. He also had a question for you. Go ahead, Potbelly.
Sister Crown, thank you for joining us this evening.
What up, though? I had to say that before I got off.
Hey, I'm representing for the Bronx Bombers. You stated that your dislike for anime is a few folks on here, including myself, that are big time anime heads.
Sorry to hear that.
But I'm not gonna go into that.
I get picked on all the time. Like, I get picked on all the time for not liking anime. Like,
everybody's entitled to their opinion, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But my question is, you highlight a lot of Afrocentric based cons, which is great because we need to have our own, but at the same time there is a dire need for diversity in cons outside of Afrocentric based cons. There's a dire need for diversity within the spectrum, the space in which we create media, like comic books and TV shows and the like. Do you think that it would be beneficial for you to go to some of the larger cons, even the ones that you dislike, so that, one, you can network, 2, that you can learn from some of the things that they're doing that's successful and incorporate those into what you're doing, and possibly be somewhat of an influence to bring a bit more diversity into that space?
Absolutely. 5 of the conventions that I named to you actually were not Black comic book conventions. Motor City Comic Con, MECCAcon, Detroit Fan Fair, Confusion. None of those are Black. None of those are Black. And then also, I was on the diversity committee for the World Science Fiction Society for the World Sci-Fi Con, which was in 2014, and Detroit won a bid out of the entire country, and I was on the diversity committee. I got Stephen Barnes and everybody else there, Nanita, everybody. So I do participate in other ones. But to add that, to be a little bit of myself on here, when I did, what was that, Confusion 2012? When I did Confusion 2012, myself and someone else were asked to be the tokens for a panel. Him specifically. It's a huge sci-fi convention in Michigan. We came in the building. There was thousands there. We came in the building. I'm sure you all know, if you all have ever been to any sci-fi conventions, you know how people are at sci-fi conventions. We came in. He had locks down to his elbows, and I think he had a dashiki on. I can't remember. I had an afro. My aunt had. I forgot what else I was wearing. We came in, everybody looking at us like we crazy. So we laughing, like whatever. We go into the room. This is a true story, and it's on video. We go into the room. He's on the panel. There's like 6, 7 people on the panel. Huge room, hundreds of people in the room. It was like one of the biggest panels they asked him to be on, and I was videotaping it because he didn't want me to go up there because I'm very radical. Once again, I'm being very friendly right now. They had him at the end. Everybody introduced themselves. When it got to his turn, he says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." Before he said anything else, the lady on the panel turned around, looked at me crazy, and then turned around and looked at him, interrupted him, and said, "Why the hell are you here? You don't belong here." In the middle of the panel. Wow. So when people tell me that I need to participate in predominantly white events, I always make sure I tell that story, because that's one of the last ones I did. Mm-hmm. And then last year for the World Sci-Fi Con, since I'm being honest right now and I don't mind, the sci-fi convention, which was called DarthGeekonius because Detroit won the bid, and there was hundreds of thousands at Detroit DarthGeekonius. I was hired to be over the diversity committee. They used me to get all the black people from all across the United States to participate, tables, panels, everything. They had about 60 people listed on the website for all the participants in the committee. They listed everybody but me. And then they told me that I had to pay to come to the convention. So once again, when I say that I don't necessarily go out of my way to go to predominantly white events, it is what it is. It's just, and I'm always going to be like that because I've had so many interesting experiences where either they don't want me there or because of what I look like, they want to make sure I'm there. And, you know, I want to be somewhere where it's for the right reason.
Yeah.
So that's why. But I do go to stuff. I'm not about to promote it. I'm not about to go out of my way to try to make sure I help them or any of that. Because I'm all about my own people right now. Everybody else in the world is elevated except for our own people. And it's because of us. And we have to elevate ourselves.
Maia, if I
and that's why I don't like anime. No, I'm just joking.
If I could ask you one question, because I'm sure that this is a topic that's going to come up on our show. Obviously, DarthGeekonius alluded to it earlier, where there was an announcement earlier this week that a young lady by the name of, I think it's Alexandra Shipp, if I don't want to mess her name up to it. Thank you, Darth. Yeah. That she was named to be the new face of Storm. A classic character. Obviously, you know, we all know the Storm was King and Born, and you know there are a lot of us who that after Lupita won, we were really looking forward to Lupita, a sister playing the Storm role. But there are a lot of people in. Let me not say a lot of people. Some of the people that I've talked to that I've seen on Twitter, they've complained that they feel that the Storm character is being lightened so that she becomes more acceptable. I wonder if you could talk about the importance. Is it really important as a person who's?
Why did you have to ask me about this? I said, please don't let him ask me about this because I go so in on this, and I was trying to be polite.
Well, but the thing is, this is the kind of stuff that we debate on here, and I mean, as obviously a conscious sister, and somebody who is into this genre, I think that your voice holds weight to this, and so I wonder if you could address it. How important do you feel that it is that Storm character maintains some of the characteristics that we've known? And I don't want to lead you down the path of going at them in terms of how dare they do it, but could you talk about how important is it that roles like Storm are cast properly in terms of how they look, and that she's portrayed as the strong character that she really is, and not the kind of watered down character that we've seen in the previous episodes?
I'm very extra when it comes to voicing opinions, so that's my pre-warning. So okay. My feeling about what they're doing to Storm right now, I mean, my cover photo is a picture of Storm in 5 different ways, how she's evolved. My opinion of Storm, I took that so seriously. I was at home about to cry when they made the announcement. I was so devastated because it just makes me feel like, as a chocolate sister, I'm pretty, but I'm not pretty enough. Unless I can't be in a movie chocolate or brown skin unless I'm being a slave, raped, ignorant, or a maid. I can't have a powerful role and be slim and attractive and have something of power. I have to be demeaned in some way, shape, or form. I have been talking about Storm turning white for the past 2 years, honey. Storm face don't even look black anymore. Storm face, the way they draw her nose and everything, she looks like she's white. I saw a picture 2 weeks ago where literally she looked white. And then her hair wasn't even silver or white. It was like kind of blonde. It was the craziest thing I've seen in my life. And it was an official. It wasn't fan art. It was official art. And they are whitening Storm so much, it's insane. But the saddest part about it is when I go on Facebook and I'll go inside of a group page and someone is trolling and they need to say something controversial so they can get attention for their garbage artwork. So they have to say something like, what can I talk about today so somebody go to my page? Because my artwork not good enough for them to go to my page. So let me talk about Storm. When I see nonsense like that where they're trying to validate them lightning Storm, it just irks my nerves because there's no ramification, no reasoning whatsoever in life that they should be lightning Storm's skin for any reason whatsoever other than propaganda. And it's all propaganda. It's reasons why they made Halle Berry Storm. So that's all I'm trying to say about it. Because I'll start and then y'all be like, wait a minute, reel it back in, Crown. We're not talking about that, right? We're talking about Kemet for it. And, so I have to just, trying to keep it to comic books. But it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening. The child, she can't even act. So it's just very disheartening that she is my Storm right now. I would have wanted it to be Lupita. Even white people wanted it to be Lupita. So, I'm confused. Like, white people mad. They on Facebook, like, what the, so.
Yeah. Well, I totally with you on that. I know that a lot of black Twitter's with you on that. Look, I actually.
White Twitter with us on that.
Oh, wow. That I didn't know. I can honestly say that I didn't know. There's
a lot of white people pissed off. There's a lot of white people pissed off about that. I think it's more white people pissed off about it than black people.
Wow.
Honestly, I've seen white people go insanely hard about this child being Storm. Storm is a big deal.
Yeah, Storm is a big deal.
It was bad enough when Holly did it. I mean, I was heated. when Holly was storming. I was young, but it's like, what is this? You know, it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make any sense. So it's
Yeah.
just very disheartening.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out. I mean, I've never seen to this point, no matter how much we complain, social media anywhere. I think it isn't until we put our economics behind our voice that we won't invoke change. And I'll have to one day offline, you and I'll have to talk about Exodus. I did hourly tweets boycotting Exodus.
You couldn't pay me to watch it online for free.
I know that's right. That's so true. All right, so my final question for you, you dropped all your information. When is MECCAcon? Where is MECCAcon? Where can people buy tickets for MECCAcon?
MECCAcon is in Detroit, Michigan, September 18th and 19th. You can buy tickets on Eventbrite, and you can click on the Eventbrite link on our website, meccacon.weebly.com. Friday is free. Saturday, we are asking for a $5 donation, but because it's the D and I know everybody can't afford it, it's not even remotely going to be a requirement. We're just trying to help make money to go towards the funding of the event. So whoever can pay, whoever can't.
That's incredible that you're offering.
I completely asking for donations.
Got you.
Completely.
That's absolutely incredible. I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Please know that if there's a way that the Black Geek can attend, we'll be looking at ways to make that trip north and come attend and definitely check out all the great artists.
I would love for you all to come take some pictures with some nice Black people.
If we don't come for any other reason,
prior conversation had before we went on air, everyone. But yes, we need some other pictures. Yeah. So we would love, in all seriousness, we would love for you all to be there. I say we like I'm a team because it makes me look more professional, like I have a squad. No, it's just me, myself, and I. So yeah, we would love to have you all there. I would absolutely love it.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being on the show. It was really great. Awesome interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be tweeting this out, and we'll be hitting it, dropping it on Facebook. Make sure everyone checks out the interview. And we'll talk. I'll be in contact with you.
Okay, Annie. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You have a good one now. Peace and blessings.
All right, you too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for Maia Williams, Crown Williams. Oh my gosh, great interview. Make sure that you support MECCAcon. Make sure that you check out. If you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, the links are all on the Black Geeks website. Not website, but they're on our Facebook page. And after the show, probably the next couple of days, we'll get them up on the website as well, so you can find out how you can also support MECCAcon and support Maia in what she's doing up there. She's trying to make a difference, and she's trying to bring that element of diversity that we need, that needs to be shown. So really appreciate her for coming on. I want to jump over to DarthGeekonius, who has I knew that he would fix his video feed. He's sometimes he's down, but he's never out. DarthGeekonius, if you could, earlier this week, Microsoft just launched, they had their Windows 10 event, and some of the information, it was well expected, but there was some really interesting nuggets from the Windows 10 event that people may be surprised to know about. So if you could you give us DarthGeekonius recap of the Windows 10 event?
Well, Windows 10, of course, it's one of those things where when you think about it and you look at it, you have this situation where people were not happy with Windows 8. One of the biggest complaints with Windows 8 was the new Metro interface that was mainly worked better on tablets than it did on PCs, desktop machines. So Windows 10, and it's 10 because they're skipping 9 because they're saying, they're counting the actual versions and it is actually 10 or something like that. Some story, I guess 10 just sounds better, but they got rid of the whole Metro interface, kinda. The Metro interface is still there, but the start menu has returned. So you have your traditional desktop that everyone is familiar with. But when you hit the start menu, and I'm sorry I don't have this up. I was actually trying to bring Windows 10 up to do kind of like a live demo. Maybe we'll do that some other time. But anyway, the live menu comes up, and basically what you have is a situation where you still see the Metro tiles, but they're in the start menu, as well as the traditional all programs and things you're used to. Some of the strongest things that really came out of there, outside of the fact that this was a long, dry, boring presentation. Microsoft cannot give a presentation. I'm just going to keep it out. I'm just going to say it. In fact, it didn't even actually get interesting until Phil Schiller. I think it's Phil Schiller, or am I messing up and quoting somebody from Apple? Who knows? Anyway, until the Xbox Live guy came out and started talking about the new gaming features, such as game DVR, multiplayer between systems, as well as the whole idea of remotely playing your Xbox One. And for me, I already came up with a use case scenario for that just personally. Where the Xbox might be in one room where guests are, but you're in another room, and you have your PC up and you still want to play it, you can use your Xbox controller to go ahead and play it on your PC or your Windows tablet. No word if it's going to come to Android or iOS. So we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Also, they introduced a new browser called Spartan, codename Spartan, which introduces a whole lot of new features like an integrated PDF. They have a write feature where you can actually write on the web, so it works well with a tablet. When you have a pen, you can circle things and email things, but you can also do it with a keyboard, kind of take notes and send a web page to somebody with your notes written all over the page. They also introduced Cortana for the desktop, so Cortana is Microsoft's answer to Google Now and Siri, of course. And, Cortana had some nice little tricks that are not featured in either Google Now or Siri to a degree. And, of course, you activate Cortana by saying, hey, Cortana. But that was really it. Windows 10 presentation wasn't really anything that anyone hasn't seen already since the September preview. It's just more polished. In fact, as I was logging into my virtual machine, it was updating to the latest version, and the preview wasn't that much bigger than the version I've been running since September. One of the things that people are still talking about, though, is the whole hologram virtual reality headset device that they had and that they were featuring. And what that device does, it basically projects things in front of you, and you can actually interact with them. So one of the actual real-time demos they gave, a woman built a drone, one of those for helicopter remote things, and as she was moving it with her hands, to the audience, you just see a woman sitting there moving with her hands, like on some, but if you see the camera feed from what she sees, there are actually objects in the sky in front of her, and she's adjusting them and putting them together and doing commands. And so they were showing the heads-up display for that interface, and it was amazing. And in the device is self-containing. It doesn't require any other source or anything like that. So it was a really big technological thing. They were showing some demos of, playing Minecraft, for instance, video games real time around your room. But, overall, it wasn't, I actually have a picture that I don't know if you guys can see it. But this was the idea of them doing the whole Microsoft hologram. You see the Microsoft? Do you see the
Yes.
Minecraft? Yeah.
Yes, it's up.
Yeah. So that was really Windows in a nutshell. So we'll see where they're going with this. But one thing that they're doing that I truly believe is where I think the tech world is going. Microsoft is the first ones to jump on it. There's basically three philosophies going on now, and Microsoft has solidified where they think this thing is going to go. And basically, their position is they want to have one operating system on all their devices. In fact, one of the things that was also mentioned was that the Xbox One would also be getting the update as well to Windows 10. So the Xbox One is going to be running Windows 10. The Windows tablets are going to be running Windows 10. The Windows phones are going to be running Windows 10, and the PCs, of course, and laptops going to be running Windows 10. Whereas Google, of course, they want to run their operating system in the cloud. They think that's where this is going. And of course, Apple believes that there should be two different operating systems. So we'll see who's right about this in the end. But pretty good event, although it wasn't presented well. The one thing that I thought was hilarious outside the presentation itself, and I'll just a last note was I think I sent it to you, Rob, and I know I posted on Twitter to show how much of a uphill climb they have. I would say in the definitely in the laptop PC market. In the front row, it was like
Yeah.
it was just like wow. The good chunk of the press was actually, on Macs, so it was kind of like, it was like, yo, this is a Windows. They didn't have the common decency to whip out their, their PC for that event, just like, have some respect, but I think it goes to show you that this battle is still being waged in the market, and we'll see. We'll see what Microsoft does.
Well, as you know, I'm a big fan of computer freedom and really electronic freedom altogether. You should be able to use whatever device, consumer electronic product you're comfortable with, even if you're in the NFL and they have a agreement with one company and you have an endorsement with another one. I still
let that go.
I'm not gonna lie. Look, there are a couple of things. I have let go in 2015, and there's some things I haven't let go in 2015. That's one of them because I'm like, that's really unfair. But I don't think that's fair. One question that I think that some people were a little bit confused about is the difference between Spartan and Cortana. Could you kind of explain what the difference is? And I know that you said that Spartan is going to replace Windows Explorer, even though the little
not Windows Explorer, Internet Explorer.
I'm sorry, Internet Explorer. I'm sorry. Yes, correct my texture. So what's I said texture, context. Correct my context, whatever. What's the difference between Spartan and Cortana for the people?
Well, first off, it should be obvious to anyone who's a fan of Halo versus the video game or the novels where these names come from. But Cortana, of course, in the Halo universe is the AI that's in Master Chief, who's part of the Spartan program. As this relates to the Windows tech world, Cortana is basically your voice assistant. It's already on the smartphones and tablets. It's basically Microsoft's answer to Siri. So Cortana does many of the same things that Siri does, and one of the things Microsoft, likes to say is that she speaks more natural and more conversationally. Some of the new features they highlighted with Cortana was that as she gets to know you, and it seems weird to even say she gets to know you because we're actually getting there in tech. And there were some demos where you could ask certain questions, and Cortana would already know how to respond based on your likes and dislikes. So if you say you want to go see a movie, what's playing, she would sometimes maybe round the result to just the type of movies you like versus everything that's playing. So little scary things like that were being presented. And Spartan, of course, is what they're calling the code name for their new browser. They didn't say for sure if it's going to be called, Spartan, as a browser, but that's the code name for the Internet Explorer update. And so that's the major difference. One is the system-wide AI, and the other one is just the browser.
One last question about the event in terms of what this means for gamers. This sounds like it is going to be. I don't want to even call it evolution because I've already started down that path where there's the integration between mobile technology and gaming technology, but what they're proposing, this integration between your handheld device, your tablet, and even your phone, and potentially Xbox, this could have really big implications potentially for the gaming world.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've said, when we got into this whole PS4 Xbox thing it seemed like eons ago, a lot of people were debating about which one is going to be the best. One of the things I had always said from the very beginning was one of the key things that Xbox was going to have over PlayStation 4 was its ability to run Windows. And, some people probably couldn't see the vision then, but if you saw what type of processors they were using and what their plan was, it was pretty obvious what Microsoft was up to in the long game. And this is their first effort. So by unifying the operating systems, the way this benefits gamers overall, of course you get a new version of DirectX 12, so you're going to have better gaming graphics on a PC in general. But one of the things you're going to really get out of this is this cross-platform ability. For a lot of people, PC gaming is still one of the best forms of gaming. Steam has a gazillion subscribers. But right after Steam, one of the biggest online game platforms is Xbox Live. So by bringing Xbox Live to the PC and using the same operating system across the board, what you're giving developers the opportunity, from Microsoft's standpoint, is to only develop a game one time. And, this might isolate PC, not PC, but Sony, because if I'm a developer now, I can now develop a game like, of course Microsoft does Halo in Studios, but this could potentially see the return of Halo on PC because it's going to be basically the same exact code, with a couple of tweaks for the interfaces. By allowing you to also be able to move from screen to screen to screen with your Xbox controller, it also extends the reach of the Xbox. It makes the Xbox more of a media center, which was what their intention was from the very beginning. So one of the things you can do is, from a distance, is you'll be able to play your Xbox. Again, if someone's, in the room where your Xbox One is, you can actually go to your laptop or your tablet or go somewhere else in your house and continue playing your game, and it does real-time streaming. So I think it benefits gamers a lot of ways, new technology, cross-platform functionality, and extending the reach of your Xbox One.
Oh, wow. I tell you, it's going to be really interesting, what they, like you said, what they're able to come up with the game developers going just to one thing and, being able to make it just in one environment. I think I've never been a big fan of, I think I can't remember what game it was. I actually played it and I had it for a while. There was one game that you could play and you could customize all your weapons in your mobile device and then upload it. But I guess we'll just have to see. Well, thanks, Geekonius. I appreciate that recap. One thing I wanted to ask you guys: did anybody see any movies lately?
I did actually. I did.
All right,
yeah.
Potbelly, what did you see recently?
I said I wish.
He said a black and that's what he saw.
I'm sorry. Face, you see anything recently?
I saw American Sniper.
What did you think?
It was actually pretty good.
Wow.
It was pretty good. Yeah, Bradley Cooper's a beast actor, man. You can't not give him props after that one. He pulled that off. Especially if you like me, seeing movies like that make me want to, especially since it's based on an actual real person. It kind of makes me want to look into the person a little bit more. Seeing if I can find what the movie didn't speak about him. No, I did it. And when I saw the dude, he looked just like him. He looked just like him. Mannerisms and everything. I was like, he pulled it off. And I'm reading the excerpt with his wife. It's like, there were times when I was watching the movie and they thought it was him because he has his mannerisms down to a T. It was almost eerie. And I was like, man, the movie was pretty good. The ending was messed up, but not in a bad way. Like, it was like, damn. It was crazy. So definitely get out a good one. That was actually a good one. I wasn't expecting me to really enjoy it. I kind of just watching it just for the sake of watching it, and it was actually a pretty good movie. So,
right. What about you, Geekonius? What did you go see?
I'm going to behave, so I'm not going to bring up anything about that movie.
Okay. Stay in your lane, homeboy. Stay in your lane.
He's sneaking off and watching that Ewok on Wookiee porn again.
Watch it. Let's keep it. We're almost to the end of the show. Let's keep it together.
Look at
Please,
his
we're
face.
so close.
Look at his face.
Yeah, that's a face we never get to see. Yo, Geeky, so
That's me.
outside
That's me trying my damnedest to hold it in about this guy Chris Kyle. It's just like,
Okay.
woosah, woosah.
All right. So what did you see?
Actually, the most recent thing I saw was outside of Throne of Atlantis, and I'm only mentioning it, even though Face mentioned it last week. I'm mentioning it again because it is so worth going to go see it. I don't know what this thing is, but when it comes to DC and their animated films, their cartoons, and their television shows, they are professionals with this. They can make a character like Aquaman like, yo, I got to see this movie. The fact that they was able to pull that off, they pulled it off with Wonder Woman, they did it with The Flash. It's just like, if they were to translate that to the cinematic universe, they would crush Marvel. But for whatever reason, the executives at Warner Brothers have issues. But what I most actually recently seen was Dear White People. I did see that, and that is worth seeing. That is worth seeing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's amazing.
All right. I departed from my normal genre movies, and I actually went and saw the Wedding Ringer, and it
Wait a minute,
was
there's no robots in that.
well, technically, the other character is almost robotic, but not quite. But I know I went and saw a movie with no killer robots. What the hell? But yeah, I actually got a chance to take a look at the Wedding Ringer. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, there were some points in there I literally almost jumped out of your seat, kind of funny or shocking. Kevin Hart pulls off an amazing role and able to bridge that role between serious and comical. But it was definitely, if you're looking for a movie that you a feel good, make you laugh kind of movie, this is pretty good. It's a little predictable, but still what he does and the other supporting characters that are in it, Kevin carries that movie, and it's really, really good. So I recommend, if you're looking for a good laugh, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. All right, so that's pretty much our show, and it looks like we're going to stay nicely under a 90-minute show today. Let me go around the horn and see if there's anything anybody else wants to bring up that is burning in their mind relative to geekness this week. I'll start with King Face. Man, you got anything else for us, for the people?
I do, but I think it's a topic that will probably take up another hour.
Really?
Look, I kind of brought it up with Geekonius, and I know I talked about it with Potbelly a little bit, but the whole thing, the whole concept is it's not just a geek thing. I spell it out real fast, just real fast, because it covers many things. So it came to a head when I saw the news article, then I saw it on the news, and then I had a comment made to me by a mother of a friend of mine when I told them about my son. I had him reading something that they thought, should he be reading that? And I think one of y'all might have said it to me too, but not in the way she did. I had him reading some Shakespeare, and she said it in a way like, "Oh, he shouldn't be reading that now." And I'm like, "Shouldn't? What does that mean?" It's like, "Well, he's only 10. You don't want to make it hard for him." And I'm just looking at her like, are you serious right now? And part of that is, and this is the same woman that we have conversations when I tell her he's in football, and I tell him how he's competitive, and she'll say stupid stuff like, "Well, it's all for fun." And I'm just looking at her again like, what are you talking about? And then looking at the article, there was a coach in California, I think San Bernardino, California, who got suspended for 2 games because his team won 161-2, and it was his fault. Not the coach that didn't coach his team that got blown out. It was his fault for being good, even though he put his substitutes in and stopped doing all these things, and they still blew them out even more. Mind you, they didn't have a mercy rule, but whatever. And a lot. It was a lot of back and forth where everybody was like, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have blew them out that bad. He should have let the other team score a little bit." And again, I'm looking at him like, "What the hell are you talking about? Let them score? That's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Let them score." But it comes to this place that we're at where competitive nature is being sapped clean out of everything, and this concept of everybody deserves to be a winner or everybody gets a trophy at the end mentality is I think it's killing us. But you get some people that honestly disagree. I think y'all are stupid, but
we definitely had this conversation a couple of days ago. I mean, where was we at? Were we at the Mexican spot when we was talking about this?
No, we was talking about this when I was at Home Depot.
Oh yeah. We was doing something else at the Mexican spot, but
yeah, I know.
Like, no, you're laughing. That chicken was the bomb.
It was.
But essentially, I agree with you 110%. Like, this whole everybody gets a trophy thing is killing our society. Like, for the most part, you have a whole generation of kids that are growing up without any real sense of ambition. Like, they have this sense of entitlement where they haven't been affected by the realities of loss and failure. Like, losing and failing at something is character building. You learn your best lessons not by your victories but by your losses. Like, so these kids now, they get to a certain age and the real world hits them. Like, they get to college, or they have to get out into the real world and get a job, and they can't hack it, and you got a whole generation of kids on Prozac and moving back home with their moms, and they all need therapy, and nobody loves them, and they wasn't hugged enough. No, you didn't get your ass kicked enough. That's what that came down to. You have to learn how to overcome adversity. That's a part of life. That's what helps to make you stronger. And we're pretty much turning our country into a country full of wimps, and that's who's going to be running things later on. So good luck, because that's who's going to be managing your Social Security account when you turn 65.
That's crazy. It is.
I think the
It's gonna be Social Security when I turn 65.
No. No. I think competition has its place. I mean, I think that when you're talking about an athletic game, it's a battle, and it's about there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser, and at the end of the game, you shake hands because you went and you played a good game. Now, if the other team sucks, and I read the article that King Face posted on his Twitter page, and I'm like. The coach said, "Well, I didn't know they were that bad." I mean, it really is not about us. I mean,
that's kind of beside the point, though.
but like when you go out there, I mean, and I played youth basketball. I played 5 seasons of basketball for the Y and 4 seasons of soccer. And the thing is that you went out there, you played. If you lost, now we just happened to be the best team in the league, and we won like 3 straight years because we had a really, really great team. But we never throttled it back. Actually, we did. But the thing is that I agree with Populate from the standpoint that in a competition, you're supposed to compete. You put your best foot forward. You go out and you play the game. You play your heart out. You win. You win. You lose. You lose. But understand that I think that having been in a couple of these environments, I think that what's also trying to be instilled into young people is a sense of you don't have to completely beat a person down to prove that you're better.
Hold up.
Let me finish my statement. I think that in some cases they're just trying to make the case of we have to work together if we're going to get ahead. That it's almost like the anti-crabs in a barrel concept. We have to give a hand down. So I think that in most cases when you have a competitive environment, there's a winner, there's a loser. But I think that in some cases where they try to make everyone feel as though they are a winner, they can win. But I agree that you don't just handicap a person. You don't just automatically say, oh, well, you didn't do that good, but you're still going to win. No, I think you still have to say, I lose.
I'm going to go back to like my timeout vogue right now. What you're talking about is sportsmanship and fair play. And that all makes sense. What they're doing is like emotionally and intellectually handicapping these kids. Because at the end of the day, it's important to learn how to be both a gracious winner as it is to be a gracious loser. So that doesn't mean you dial back the competition. It means you work on personal behavior and ethics like mean-spirited play and things of that nature. That's how you fix that problem. You don't tell kids to dial it back. You let them put everything they got on the table, and then you have the winners congratulate the losers and vice versa, and let them know there's not any hard feelings. Everybody get together and hang out afterwards. You might be able to learn something from the guys that beat you and vice versa. Like, that's how you do that. You don't talk about dial it back. Like, that's ridiculous.
I mean, now if those girls, I mean, it was a girls basketball team. If it was a girls basketball, but if they running out there dunking on everybody and doing a little Willie Bean and shark dance every time they do it, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I could understand you being upset about that, and that goes back to being
that's showboating. That's being flamboyant.
Yeah, that's showboating.
That's poor sportsmanship.
That's being flamboyant, and that's poor sportsmanship. But the fact that you're losing to me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and you basically telling me stop doing what you're supposed to do so I can look better. I'm not with that. I'm not with that. Like, for example, there was a woman, I don't remember who she is. It was just one of the posts based on that article. She was talking about something. Well, in my soccer game, we won 9-0, but we didn't want to make them look bad, so we only reported it as only winning 3-0. I was like, well, no, you didn't win 3-0. You won 9-0. So telling everybody you won 3-0 is stupid, because it demeans both of you, because you're making it seem like they did better than they did, and they didn't, and that's part of life. Sometimes you suck. I mean, I've been blown out. I didn't say, hey, timeout. Can you change the score to make it only look like we all lost only 14-0, not 48-0? Because really, that like kind of makes me look bad. Well, if I want to be better, I need to do better, and that's part of the issue.
That's one of the reasons why kids nowadays can't accept no for an answer. Like, I've seen kids talk to their parents, and prime example, I think I sent this article out to y'all. Y'all know, Brooklyn born and raised, Prospect Park band shell, free concerts in the summertime, all these awesome things. But one of the pieces of city culture growing up in the summertime is the icy man and the ice cream man. Like, now the neighborhood that I grew up in is getting so gentrified that they have these couples, and they petitioning to get the icy man and the ice cream man out of the park in the summertime, because their reasoning for this is they don't want their kids harassing them about buying them ices and buying them ice cream. So you're going to put somebody out of work because you're not going to tell your kid no. Your kid is going to have this sense of entitlement. Do you really want that little jerk growing up to be a big jerk, and he's your boss, or he's the guy controlling your Social Security and your Medicaid? I don't think so. Like, that sense of entitlement is unhealthy.
That's some BS right there, because I can't get my strawberry shortcake ice cream because you a crappy parent. We're going to have issues. We're going to have issues.
And y'all all grew up in the city just like I grew up in.
See, that's part of the issue.
Culture in the summertime.
That's part of the issue. Like, you wanna remove anything that's challenging. Like, me and Pabella, we talked about this concept of asking a child, does he want to eat what you just cooked? Like, you make something like, oh, you don't want that? Well, what else do you want? And it's like, wait, what? Everybody on this panel right now has been a child. When have you changed a parent's mind about what they just cooked you and said, I don't want to eat carrots, make me something else? Have any of you ever done that? Because I know I haven't. If I went to somebody's house and
I don't think you'd be here giving this conversation.
For real. If you go to somebody's house and they make spaghetti and meatballs, guess what you finna eat for dinner? Spaghetti and meatballs. You finna eat the whole thing. You finna eat the whole thing. But see, that's what I'm saying. You get these kids like, I don't want that, and they have no reason for it. They're not allergic to it. They just, I don't feel like eating that right now. Do you have hamburgers? And it's like, no, but you finna eat this spaghetti and meatballs. And it's crazy because and you get a lot of these parents that, well, he normally, I said, see, you're making excuses for this child, and that makes no sense. And it all boils back down to the same place, I think. I'm not sure how we got to this point. I mean, we can all we can all have like our own little thought process of how it got there, but to me, it's just you get it all the time. Like, I could play my son. We got this game. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. It's a game called Stratego. Have any of y'all heard of that? Stratego?
Sure. Yeah, I remember Stratego.
All right, so I bought it for my son, right? I taught him how to play it. And so the first game was a straight up trial. I just wanted him to see how the pieces moved. And then he's like, oh, that's cool, Daddy. I said, cool. You understand it? He's like, yeah, I got it, and I understand the rules and everything. I said, cool. Game on. Set the pieces up. I was like, let's play. I blew him out like 6 straight times, right? 6 straight times out the water. And then my cousin goes, why don't you let him win one? And I was like, what purpose would that serve? I'm like, please enlighten me. What purpose would that serve? To let him win and he'll know it. Because he knows. Because he got to the point now where he's like, he'll come to me and say, let's play strategical because I'm finna beat you this time. That's what I want him to do. Now, he's not going to do it. I don't think anybody's going to do it, not even any of you guys. But
challenge.
We're gonna hear that live air, right?
We're gonna put that joint on the air. The great ego challenge.
Yeah, but the point is the fact that
if he lose, right? He's gonna be like, yo, so y'all cheated.
Nah, I'm not gonna lose. We're good. But see how everybody's confident right now in y'all abilities? That's where I want my child to be confident. And it's like this thing of letting them win or getting a trophy or everybody does well. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, I think you gotta understand there's a line where you don't want to make them feel bad. Like when I coached, never did I say you have to win this game. I never did that. But never also did I say it's okay if you lost. You never hear me say no crap like that. Because we trying to win. Otherwise, why are we keeping score? You don't keep score of a game that you intentionally not trying to win. That's dumb. So you keep a score because we see who got the most points. That's the whole point. So I never said, hey, it's okay if we lose. I always say, just give me your best effort. Give me your best effort. But at the same time, we're going to practice, so you do give me your best effort. So you have no excuse. We're never not just going to show up and just do stupid stuff.
When did you become such a liberal?
Liberal, whatever, dude.
Your best effort. You supposed to say, crush him. Go out there and kill him.
No, hold up. No, you got to understand. Best effort to me is we practice all day, every day. By giving me your best effort, you want to do what I see you do on a regular basis, which will in turn be crush, kill, destroy, right? Because that's what's going to happen. That's how we practice. We go hard when we practice. So when I say your best effort, I'm not going to ask you to do something beyond yourself. If you get a team, because you're not always going to have a team that's great. That's just the way of life. You'll get a team full of cats that's never played ball before, and we've gotten that. We've gotten that team. I had a guy who showed up with his son talking about something. Well, he played soccer once, and I was like, and this is in a league where every child has probably played for 6 years straight, and I'm like, he's gonna get killed out there. What you want me to do? And I didn't do it being malicious, just in case my brother's watching. He's gonna try to play it like I did it on purpose. It wasn't malicious. I said, because you got parents that aren't realistic. Yeah, let my son be a running back. And I was like, you want your son to be a running back? Yeah. I was like, you want him to be a running back for real? Yeah. I said, all right. Today he's gonna be a running back on practice squad. I took all my starting linebackers. I said, hey, light his ass up. so I'm like, listen, just light him up. And I was like, I'm gonna put a good line in front of him, light him up. And he got murdered that day. And I was like, listen, and that's my point. Like when I'm practicing, and you got your son sitting on your lap the whole time, and then you're gonna come back at me talking about something. Well, at least he should play. And I'm like, this concept of he don't have to earn his playing time is foreign to me. I don't do guaranteed play time where you automatically get the ball just because you say you want it. Like you have to, like when I was young, you had to try out for the team, and if you didn't make it, you had to practice, so you came back and got better. This given thing, one, you're gonna get yourself hurt, which is what happened to the boy, because he ain't come back after that. He ain't come back to practice after that. He was done. And I was like, well, that's what you're gonna have. Like this concept of we have to give you stuff is foolish. You have to work for it, and if you work hard, you'll find that you'll get a lot of what you want. You're not always gonna win, but if you go hard, most likely you'll be crazy successful. And that's what I learned. You work hard, you play hard, and it just comes easy for you after that. But there's a reason why these cats don't show up at practice. I was down to one of these DC. We played one of these DC teams, and we blew them out 51-0 before the half. And it was like, went and talked to the other coach. And he was like, yo, I can't get these parents to show up. But they're up here yelling at me, talking about some, oh, we should be better than this. But they never come to practice. That's part of the problem. They don't work for it. They don't want it. But you want to reap the rewards without having to work hard, and that's part of the problem. That's what doing this. That's what everybody gets a trophy. That's what that gives you. A bunch of lazy people that think they should just have stuff without having to work. But y'all complain about it afterwards, and I think that's dumb. you know. So
Oh, you're right. And I mean you've got a good point there in terms of everyone. People need to compete. They need to go out there. I don't disagree with what either one of you guys said in terms of competition and scaling it back. I think the only way that you are going to get better is to go out there and to do your best. And yeah, there's this concept running around out there now that okay, no, it's more about fairness and togetherness. I think that it has its place and it has its time. But when we're talking about competition, no, you go out there, you play your heart out, you do your best. They're going to be winners, they're going to be losers, and you're right. The only way you're going to get better, you're going to lose a few. You're going to get knocked down or something. You're going to lose a couple fights. You're going to lose a couple games. You're going to lose a couple of board games too. But you don't stop. If anything, it just makes you more fierce and come back. So. Yeah, so no, I can't face. I think that's a good point you brought up. I'm glad you brought it up. That would have been a good segment for next week, but I think we've covered it pretty well this week. Popular Samurai, you got anything else that you want to bring in geekiness, my friend?
Nah, man, I'm gonna let the the angriest man in America have the last word on that one.
All right, cool beans. And DarthGeekonius, what about you, sir?
Yeah, I concur. Let them get that rant be the period on this week. That's what we really need. This is what we really need to hear. People need to understand. Say it with your chest. It's time to man up, America. Drive the Maverick.
Hey, speaking of saying with your chest, what does your shirt say?
Oh, it says sarcastic comment. Sarcastic comment. Loading. Please wait.
Oh, okay. Because the rest of us are.
It was for the Dark Knight.
It was a Father's Day. It was a Father's Day gift. They like to see me wear this because they know that it's coming.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have normal things to say.
All right. Oh, cool.
I think my son stole my Black Geeks T-shirts. I can't find them. That's what it is. That's the main reason. They got them all. The Black Panther joint, everything is gone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you need to go find your stuff, man. All right. So thanks. I want to thank everyone. Definitely thank the Black Geeks, DarthGeekonius, Popular Samurai, King Face. Thank you guys so much for the show today. Next week's show. We're gonna do an intro show, and I know this this is show 121, episode 121. That doesn't even count some of the other shows we have. The one thing we haven't really done for Twitter, not for Twitter, but for YouTube, is that we really haven't introduced ourselves and talked about who we are and where we come from and what are our superpowers and that kind of thing. So. Next week's show to kick off what I'm calling Blacks Making History Month. We're going to talk about ourselves. We're going to talk about who we are and kind of just give you guys an intro because it needs to be on our YouTube page of who we are as individuals, as Black geeks, and why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing. So. Make sure you tune in next week, and then we've got some other things planned for the month. Still trying to put everything in the right place, but we'll be sending those out notifications. Oh man, someone's making a lot of noise. I'm going to present.
Somebody's doing a mixtape. They're scratching or something.
Wiki. So definitely make sure that you tune in next week. Make sure that you check out MECCAcon. Thanks so much to Maia Williams. Really appreciate her for coming on. And telling us, just a really great time and just her perspective on things. Really appreciate her. And make sure that you tell somebody, hey, so last week I told you guys that we were trying to get to 2 million Facebook followers. Well, we 15 away.
Like 1 or 2, didn't we?
Yeah, we got like 4.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah, really. So, this was, we can bring you guys more content. Let us know you're out there. We're still looking for you to let us know what you want to see in geekiness. Next week I'm going to talk about my utter frustration with Sid Meier's Beyond Earth. I am so pissed off at that game right now. Oh my God. Dude, I'm so upset with that game right now. I'm just not. I'm
ready to wait till it's like $5.
I know. I should have waited. It started off good, and it's just gotten so bad. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna talk about that next week, but we're gonna talk about ourselves. So make sure you tune in. Check us out on Facebook at The Black Geeks. Check us out on Twitter at The Black Geeks. As DarthGeekonius always likes to say, we're everywhere. at the Black Geeks on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, YouTube. We're just all over the place. So make sure that you're on. Check us out next week. We'll be back at 10 o'clock p.m. on time. We started the show on time today, and that's a great thing. And we're going to start on time for the next couple of years. As long as whether we're here, whether we're picked up in syndication, whether we get our own radio station, who knows? Well, we'll be around for quite some time. But we're here because of you. Make sure that you like us and you reach out to us, let us know what you want, and we'll do the best to bring you that content. So appreciate you guys. Peace and love, and we will catch you all next week.